to Classic Basslines. This week we're going to be taking a look at the bass line on Red Clay. This was originally recorded in 1970 by Freddie Hubbard and features the great Ron Carter on bass. I first heard this bass line when Tribe Called Quest sampled it in the 90s on their album Midnight Marauder. But the sample that they used on that is not of Ron Carter's playing on the Freddie Hubbard record. It's actually a sample from a 1973 record by a guitarist named Jack Wilkins. He made a trio record called Windows, and this features bassist Mike Moore playing. I'm going to break down each version of the line for you. Follow the link in the description to get the tab on my website, classicbasslines.com. Here's what Ron Carter plays, slowly. That's what Ron plays the first two times he plays the bass line. Notice that they're slightly different, and actually he plays it slightly different every time he plays the pattern. That's typical of Ron. He's endlessly inventive. He's not really one to stick to just playing the same thing over and over again. So let's take a look at it. The song is in C sharp minor and mostly based on these octave patterns. First time Ron plays. So that's just G sharp, and then C sharp, G sharp, C sharp. Just roots fifths octave. Then he moves down to the B chord. Same thing. Then it's just these root fifth octaves. On D, that's D, A, D. E, that's E, B, E. F sharp, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. And then that's a G sharp, G sharp, D sharp, G sharp. And on that one, you'll hear he anticipates it by a little bit, so. So he's moving where that line is happening, which changes the accents of everything. And then there's this fall, where he's just sliding down really fast. So the second time he plays again, it's just a slight variation. This time, only that part's different. So he just does a little there, and he repeats the octave B. And the rest of it's the same. It's important to note, if you're playing this song, like at a jam session or with friends, this bass line doesn't happen during the solo section. And it's not these chord changes during the solo section either. The chord changes on the solo section are actually borrowed from a tune by Bobby Hebb that's called Sunny. That was a big hit for him. And in the solos, the band just ditches this bass line, ditches the changes, and just plays over the Sunny change, which is actually only the first part of the Sunny change. I have those written down on the tab, so make sure to download that. You should also know there's a great video of Bobby Hebb and Ron Carter playing this song as a duo with Ron on electric bass. And it's incredible performances by both of them. It's Ron getting super groovy on the electric bass with no drummer, and Bobby Hebb is just mind-blowing performance. Gives me chills. Definitely make sure to check that out. It's also just great to hear Ron play those changes on Red Clay, and then also hear him play it on Sunny. He obviously really knew his way around those changes. Okay, so here's how to play the Jack Wilkins, Mike Moore version. Okay, so on this, Mike Moore plays basically the same thing Ron plays, but it's a little bit more of a set pattern. And honestly, it tends to be what I think of when I think of this bass line. So over the C sharp minor, over the B minor. That's one thing that I really like about this bass line, though. That last note on the Ron version, on the first time through, he didn't play that extra octave on the beat. And on the second time, he played it on the beat, whereas Mike Moore plays it off the beat, and I think that just gives it a little more push to it. So then this part's the same. And only on this last part, instead of doing the root fifth octave, it's just, and you can really hear that fall in Mike Moore's part. It's really, that's really kind of a part of the line, so make sure to get that. Then in the pattern, he plays basically the exact same thing the second time through, but on the C sharp minor, he goes, just adds that little thing in, which just sort of helps it keep rolling along. So that's just, which is just a, like sort of a pull off from the C sharp to the B and then back to the C sharp. It's just a little thing that helps it groove a little bit. I really like the sound Mike Moore gets on this. You can really hear like the grunt of the flat wound strings. When Ron plays it, it sounds like he's a little more over here. It's sort of a darker sound. When Mike Moore plays it, it feels like he's right over the pickup. If you're trying to play along with this, that recording for some reason is slightly out of tune. It's about 60 cents flat or something, so you might want to throw it into a program and pitch it up a bit, because otherwise it's kind of hard to play with. Okay, lastly, here's the Tribe Called Quest version of the line, and I'll play it slowly for you. So, what's going on there? Well, that's the sample of the Mike Moore line, so it's the exact same pattern, but what they did is they took the sample and they sped it up to get it up to an appropriate tempo for hip hop, and that sped the pitch up, so that put the song in more or less F minor. Again, it's slightly out of tune, but it's a lot closer. So it's just the whole pattern, but starting on the F, then the E flat, then G flat, A flat, B flat, and C. The tempo's a lot quicker on this, so just make sure you stay relaxed when you're playing it. Okay, I think that's everything. I hope this is helpful for you. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.